imagination the power to create. As we share our imagination, stories unfold.
Why would a Sith probe droid be searching the Senate?
And who gave it the orders?
We'll understand its reasons once we know what information it stole. I'll take the Sith probe, Master. You take the droidicus.
No, Anakin, wait!
Disney Infinity has been my go-to series for the toy-to-game genre for a while now. Skylanders may have started the trend, and Nintendo is sure making a mint off those amiibos, but it's Disney Infinity that seems to have struck the perfect balance between a limited amount of figures and a very entertaining video game. This is by far the best version yet, and considering how many figures have already been released across all 3 games, you sure have a lot of options for your toy box. Disney characters? Check. Marvel characters? Double check. And now Star Wars characters? Triple check. That is an incredible wealth of content, and for the very first time, all 3 universes have come together in one glorious package. There's something here for children of all ages. Whether you want to spend countless hours in the intimidating but ultimately enjoyable toy box mode, where you can use any figure you've collected over the years in a mix mash of games, genres, or anything else your brain can think of, or work your way through one of the many playsets, Disney Infinity 3.0 is a sheer delight. As I've already said, it's the incredible wealth of content that is by far the single best feature of this game. This year's starter set features Ahsoka and Anakin figures from the Star Wars universe, and the playset Twilight of the Republic, which is actually hands down the best playset included in any of the starter sets ever released. While you may note that we're missing one figure from the previous starter sets, do keep in mind that the overall price has been lowered. It's also possible to use the power base from Disney Infinity 2.0 and simply download the game for an even greater cost reduction. That way you can simply pick up the figures you want individually. As always, the build quality of the toys themselves is top-notch. That classic cartoony look the toys have fits the Star Wars universe perfectly. I will admit that excited children might snap off those thin lightsabers though, so parents be warned. Combat is tighter and more refined than ever before. Experienced players will be able to time their button presses to string together a wide assortment of awesome looking combos, but for the kids, button mashing works pretty well in and of itself. This is a perfect balance for seasoned and newbie players alike. The Star Wars property itself is respected and put to very good use here. You can explore 4 planets, take part in space dogfights, and much more. I was surprised by just how fantastic the overall gameplay was. Now let's just tackle the toy box mode for a second, and I'm glad to report that it's easier to make new content than ever before, but ultimately it is still a little bit daunting just because of how many options are available. The audio-visual presentation is absolutely top-notch here. This looks, feels, and sounds like a Star Wars game. The developers didn't skip a beat, and it shows. Every year, it's pretty much the same thing. Ultimately, your enjoyment of Disney Infinity will greatly depend on how much money you throw at it. If you purchase the additional characters and playsets, naturally you're going to have a much deeper experience than someone who only purchases the starter set. I would strongly recommend, if you're going to buy this for children, to pick up at least 1 or 2 additional figures and potentially another 1 or 2 playsets. Overall, Disney Infinity 3.0 is a fantastic game. While it may appear to be more expensive this time around, it's actually cheaper. While I absolutely loved last year's iteration with the whole Marvel theme, this year's blows it out of the water. The Star Wars property is handled with respect. This is an absolute gem for kids, so if you have any, I strongly recommend you put this underneath the Christmas tree.
But the greatest stories of all are the ones you will tell. With limitless creativity at your fingertips, the possibilities are infinite. It's time now for you to add your story to these and share in the imagination. Welcome to Disney Infinity 3.0.
Hey, baby. I heard this magic mushroom makes you larger. Does it make everything larger? Awkward!